The alien captain chose to spare him. Now he owes her forever part. 5. The Resistance Council gathered in the central chamber of the mountain sanctuary. 12 members sat at a round table. 6 human, 6 elven. Their faces showed the strain of fighting. A secret war, but also determination. Lily and Vela stood before them. Ember perched between them, his scales shifting with nervous energy. "We have reviewed your evidence," Counselor Maya said, a tall human woman with steel-gray hair. "It confirms our suspicions. The Void Collective has manipulated our peoples for decades." Counselor Thalas, an elder elf with elaborate tattoos marking his face, nodded. "The patterns match what our own agents have discovered. False flag operations, corrupted leaders, strategies designed to maximize casualties." The council had spent 3 days examining the data crystals Lily and Vela had brought, comparing them with their own intelligence. The conclusion was undeniable. The war between humans and elves served only the Void Collective, feeding them with the energy of conflict and death. But knowing the truth is not enough. Counselor Wren said, a younger human man with burn scars across half his face. "We must act. The Void agents have infiltrated the highest levels of both governments. We have evidence that Admiral Morgan and High Commander Sullivan are both under Void control." Lily felt sick. Admiral Morgan had been her superior. The one who gave her the reconnaissance mission that led to her capture. The one who had praised her service promoted her. Was it all part of the Void manipulation? "The council has decided," Captain Vela. Counselor Ilara announced, her elven features serene despite the tension in the room. "We will combine our forces, launch a coordinated strike against the Void Anchors." Void Anchors. Lily asked. Counselor Thalas activated a holographic display showing various locations throughout human and elven space. "These are the focal points where the Void maintains its influence in our reality. They disguise them as military installations, research facilities, or sacred sites. 7 in human territory, 6 in elven space." The silver mark on Lily's wrist pulsed. She felt Vela's recognition through their bond. "The Temple of Eternal," Starsvila whispered. "On my homeworld. I always felt something wrong there. Something ancient and terrible. Similar to the feeling at Earth Defense Headquarters." Lily added, remembering the strange, cold sensation she experienced there. The wrongness. She could never explain. Counselor Maya nodded. "Our plan requires simultaneous strikes against all 13 anchors. Specialized teams of humans and elves working together using weapons we have developed that can harm Void entities. And most importantly," Counselor Wren added, "we need to broadcast the truth to both our peoples, show them evidence of the manipulation. Break the Void control over the population." An impossible task, Lily thought, looking at the scope of the operation. The Void agents were everywhere. They had infiltrated military government's media. How could they possibly succeed? Lily and Captain Vela. Counselor Ilara said, looking at them intently. "Your bond is unique. The life debt magic seems effective against Void influence. We need you to lead the most critical strike against the primary anchor." "The primary anchor?" Faila asked. The hologram changed, showing a massive structure floating in deep space, far from any inhabited system. It resembled a black crystal, twisted into impossible shapes that hurt the eyes to look at. "This is the nexus point," Counselor Thalas explained. "The center of their influence. We believe destroying it will weaken the Void enough for our other teams to succeed." Lily looked at Vela. Through their bond, she felt the elven captain's determination, but also fear. This would be the most dangerous mission possible. But if they succeeded, they could end the war, save countless lives. "We will do it," Vila said before Lily could speak, the mark on her palm glowing softly. "We have come too far to turn back now." The following days were filled with preparation. Special weapons were created combining human technology with elven magic. Teams were assembled, ships prepared, plans made and remade. The sanctuary buzzed with activity as humans and elves worked side by side, united against a common enemy. Lily trained with Vila, improving their combat synchronization. Through the life debt bond, Ember participated, growing to his larger form during practice sessions. The small dragon was developing new abilities every day. His silver flame burned hotter. His strength increased. His bond with both Lily and Vela deepened. Rose approached Lily one evening as she sat outside their quarters watching the artificial stars projected on the cavern ceiling. "I'm coming with you," Rose said, sitting beside her sister. "I have medical training. I can help." Lily shook her head. "It's too dangerous, Rose. You need to stay here. Coordinate with other resistant cells." Rose took her hand. "Where you go, I go. I just found you again. I won't lose you through their bond." Lily felt Velas approach. The elven captain joined them, Ember flying ahead to land on Rose's shoulder. The dragon had grown fond of the doctor. "Your sister has skills. We need," Vela said. "We don't know what wounds we might face from void weapons." Her knowledge of both human and elven physiology could save lives. Lily sighed, knowing she was outnumbered. "Are all elven captains this stubborn?" she asked Ember. The dragon chirped what sounded suspiciously like laughter. The assault fleet departed 3 days later. Small ships designed for stealth, each carrying mixed teams of humans and elves, specialized weapons powered by a combination of technology and magic. 13 targets, 13 teams coordinated to strike simultaneously. Lily, Vela, Rose, and Ember traveled on the Shadow Whisper, a modified elven scout ship. Their destination? The primary void anchor. Their mission to destroy it and broadcast the truth to both human and elven populations. The journey took 7 days following dragon routes to avoid detection. As they approached the void nexus, Lily felt a growing sense of wrongness through the life debt bond. Viola felt it too, a cold emptiness that seemed to pull at their very souls. Ember grew restless, his scales darkening. He stayed in his larger form, now the size of a wolf, his silver flames burning constantly as if fighting an invisible enemy. The void nexus came into view, a massive structure of black crystal hanging in space. Light bent around it, creating disturbing patterns. Stars seemed to dim in its presence. Scans show no conventional defenses, Lily said, checking the instruments. "But energy readings are off the charts. We won't need conventional defenses," Vela replied, looking at the structure. "It defends itself. The plan was simple: approach under stealth, deliver the void bomb, a device created by the Resistance that combined human antimatter technology with elven binding magic, then escape. Before detonation, the bomb would destroy the physical anchor and release a pulse of truth energy, broadcasting the evidence of void manipulation to all communication systems in both human and elven space." Rose monitored their life signs as they approached the nexus. All 3 showed elevated stress levels, heart rates increasing the closer they got to the structure. Even the ship's systems seemed affected, readings fluctuating, instruments malfunctioning, 5,000 kilometers and closing. Lily announced, "The stealth systems should keep us hidden." A sudden alarm blared throughout the ship. Warning lights flashed. Ember hissed smoke pouring from his nostrils. Energy surge. Viola called out massive readings directly ahead. The void nexus seemed to awaken. Black tendrils of energy reached out from the structure, searching. The ship shuddered as one tendril passed nearby systems, failing, then restarting. "They know we're here," Lily said. "The stealth systems can't hide us from this." Viola took manual control of the ship. Her hands dancing across the living controls, Lily felt her determination through their bond. They had come too far to fail. Now the void nexus fired. A beam of darkness struck the ship, sending it spinning. Emergency systems activated, stabilizing their flight, but damage reports flooded the screens. "Engine 2 is down." Rose reported from the engineering station, "Shield capacity at 40%. "Another hit like that and we're finished," Lily said. "Then we won't give them another shot," Viola replied. Her eyes met Lily's, a plan forming between them through their bond. It was dangerous, possibly suicidal, but it might work. The life debt marks on their wrists glowed brightly as their thoughts aligned. "Rose, hold on," Lily warned her sister. "This will be rough." Vela pushed the ship to maximum speed directly toward the void nexus. The structure fired again, but the elven captain anticipated it, rolling the ship at the last second. The beam grazed their hull but missed a direct hit. 1,000 kilometers, Lily counted down. Ember grew agitated, his form shifting, expanding. His wings stretched wider, his teeth and claws lengthened. 500 kilometers. The void nexus seemed to understand their intention. The entire structure pulsed with dark energy, black tendrils reaching for them like grasping hands. 200 kilometers. Lily activated the void bomb. The countdown began. 2 minutes to detonation. 100 kilometers. Vela looked at Lily. Their marks pulsed in unison. "This is where we drop the bomb and turn around," she said. "But the tendrils will catch us before we can escape." "I know," Lily replied. Rose looked between them. "What are you saying? We need to get closer." Viola explained. "Inside the structure. The bomb must detonate at the core, but that means," Rose began, then stopped as understanding dawned. "No one could survive that." Lily took her sister's hand. "The plan was always a one-way mission. The resistance knew it. We knew it." Tears filled Rose's eyes. "You can't. We must," Viola said simply. "The void must be stopped. The war ended. Too many have died already." The ship pushed forward, breaking through the outer layer of the void nexus. Blackness surrounded them. The screens showed impossible geometries. The alien captain chose to spare him. Now he owes her forever part. For the small shuttle moved silently through the darkness of space, following ancient routes known only to dragons. Viola piloted the craft, her hands moving across living controls. With practiced ease, Ember sat on the console, his eyes glowing as he guided them through invisible pathways. The shuttle was Elven design but modified to mask its signature. It would register as space debris on most scanners. Lily sat beside Vela. Watching stars streak past, the silver mark on her wrist pulsed steadily, keeping time with the Elven captain's heartbeat. 3 months had passed since their discovery of the Void Collective's manipulation. 3 months of secret travel gathering, evidence and allies. Their plan was dangerous. Contact Lily's sister Rose, gain access to human resistance networks, combine forces with Elven rebels, and expose the truth about the war. But first they needed to reach Earth without being detected by either human military or void agents. "We will reach the Terra system in 6 hours, Viola said, checking their course. "Ember seems confident this route remains unknown." Lily nodded, watching the small dragon. The creature had become as bonded to her as to Viola over the past months. Ember often slept curled against her neck, chirping softly when she had nightmares. "The life debt has changed," Lily said, looking at the silver mark. "It used to feel like a chain. Now it feels like something else." Viola glanced at her own palm where the matching mark glowed. The ancient texts speak of this. When the debt is accepted willingly, it transforms, becomes partnership rather than bondage. Their connection had deepened. Lily could sense Viola's emotions clearly now, sometimes even catching glimpses of her thoughts. In battle, they moved as one person, their actions perfectly synchronized. The void agents they had encountered during their journey had been unprepared for their combined power. But the connection revealed other things too: Viola's loneliness as a captain, her grief for her lost sister, her doubts about their mission. Lily had shared her own fears through the bond, her worry for Rose, her uncertainty about who they could trust. Ember chirped suddenly, his scales darkening. The small dragon leapt from the console to Vela's shoulder. "What's wrong?" Vela asked before she could answer. Alarms blared throughout the shuttle. A massive ship had appeared directly in their path. Its design was neither human nor elven, but something older, more terrible. "Void cruiser," Vela whispered, turning the shuttle sharply. "How did they find us?" Lily asked. Gripping her seat as the shuttle accelerated, the void ship fired. Dark energy weapons scarred space around them. The shuttle shuddered as a glancing blow struck its hull. Vela cursed in the elven language, her hands dancing across controls. They must have discovered the dragon routes. "Ember, can you find another path?" The small dragon chirped frantically, his eyes scanning space for invisible trails. Lily checked the damage reports. The shuttle's left engine was failing, shields weakening with each hit. They could not outrun the void cruiser, and they could not fight it. "I have an idea," she said suddenly. The life debt mark on her wrist pulsed with inspiration. We can't escape them, but we can trick them. Vela looked at her. The elven captain had learned to trust Lily's instincts. What do you suggest? Lily moved to the engineering console. If we vent plasma from the damaged engine and detonate it with a focused energy burst, it will create a radiation cloud that should mask our signature long enough to slip away. It's risky, Viola said. The explosion could damage us as well. Do we have a choice? The Void Cruiser fired again. The shuttle rocked violently. Systems sparked and failed. Emergency lights bathed the cabin in red. Do it, Viola ordered. Turning the shuttle toward a nearby asteroid field, Lily worked quickly, programming the damaged engine to vent plasma in a controlled release. The timing had to be perfect. Too soon and the void ship would see through the trick. Too late and they would be destroyed. Ember flew to Lily, perching on her shoulder. His small claws dug into her uniform as if offering support. Through their bond, she felt Viola's concentration and trust. Now, Lily called. Viola fired the shuttle's remaining weapons directly into the plasma cloud. The explosion was blinding. The shockwave hit their shuttle, spinning it toward the asteroids. Lily held onto the console as gravity systems fluctuated. Ember clung to her shoulder wings, spread for balance. Viola fought the controls, steadying their course. The Void Cruiser disappeared from their sensors, hidden behind the radiation cloud and electromagnetic interference. Did it work? Lily asked when the shuttle stabilized. Viola checked the sensors. No sign of pursuit. The trick worked. Relief washed through their bond. Lily felt Viola's pride and gratitude mixed with her own exhaustion. They had escaped for now, but the encounter proved something important. They know what we're doing, Lily said. They know we're working together. Vela nodded, her expression grim. The resistance we found on Proxima Colony was attacked the day after we left. The Void agents are tracking our movements, eliminating anyone who might help us. They needed to reach Earth, find Rose before the Void agents did. The shuttle limped through the asteroid field, its damaged engine barely functioning. Vela guided it with expert skill, following Ember's directions through the dragon routes. 6 hours later, they entered Earth orbit. Cloaked by the shuttle's remaining stealth systems, they approached the night side of the planet. Lily directed them to a remote area far from military bases or major cities. Rose lives in a small community hospital in the mountains. Lily explained. She treats war victims regardless of species. Some elven refugees have found sanctuary there. Viola landed the shuttle in a forest clearing, concealing it beneath camouflage netting. Ember flew ahead, scouting the area for danger. His scales shifted color, blending with the earth forest. The air smelled different to Lily after so long in space. Rich with moisture, plant life, the scent of soil. Earth smells she had missed during her years in service. She led Vela through the forest toward a cluster of buildings nestled in a valley. The hospital was small, designed to blend with the natural surroundings. Will your sister help us? Vela asked as they approached. She adjusted the hood of her cloak, hiding her elven features. Her silver hair and pointed ears would attract unwanted attention. She will, Lily said, feeling the weight of the data crystals in her pack. They carried evidence of the Void manipulation, documents from both human and elven sources that proved the war was built on lies. Security was minimal at the hospital. Lily led Viola through a side entrance, avoiding the main reception area. They moved through quiet corridors, Lily searching for her sister. Most patients were asleep. The night staff focused on their duties. Lily found Rose's office at the end of a long hallway. Light spilled from beneath the door. She knocked softly. A moment passed. Then the door opened, revealing a woman who looked like an older version of Lily. Her hair was darker, her eyes tired from years of treating war victims. She stared at her sister in shock. Lily, Rose whispered, "Is it really you? They said you were dead. Your ship disappeared." Lily embraced her sister, holding her tightly. "I survived, but we need your help, Rose." "It's important." Rose pulled back. Noticing Vela for the first time, the elven captain had lowered her hood, revealing her true nature. Rose gasped, reaching for an alarm button. "Wait." Lily caught her hand. "Please, she's with me." "We discovered something." Something about the war. Rose looked between them, confusion and fear on her face. An elf in my hospital and my dead sister. What is happening? We can explain, Lily said. But we need privacy and security. Hesitated, then nodded, locking her office door. She led them through a hidden panel in the wall to a small underground room. Some patients need extra protection from military police, she explained. This room is shielded. No signals get in or out once. Secure. Lily and Vela shared their discovery, showing Rose the evidence they had gathered. The void manipulation, the false flag operations, the lies told by both governments. Rose listened in horrified silence. This can't be true, she said, finally looking at the data crystals. But it explains so much: the patterns of attacks, the strange injuries. I've treated soldiers with wounds that seemed wrong somehow, as if they were fighting something other than elves or humans. Ember had been hiding in Vila's cloak. The small dragon emerged, now curious about the new human. Rose stared in wonder as the creature flew to a nearby shelf, investigating medical supplies. A dragon, she whispered. They said they were extinct. Not all. Vila said, Ember is one of the last. His kind helps us navigate the hidden paths. They remember the time before the war, before the void came. Rose looked at the silver marks on Lily and Vela's wrists. What is that? Some kind of control device. Lily shook her head, explaining the life, debt, how it had changed from bondage to partnership, how it protected them from void influence. We need your help. Rose, Lily said. We need to contact the Human Resistance Network. Join forces with the Elven rebels we found. Expose the truth. Rose sighed, heavily, running a hand through her hair. I have contacts, people who question the war. But what you're suggesting, challenging both governments, exposing this void collective, it seems impossible. The door to the hidden room burst open. 3 figures entered, weapons raised. They wore human military uniforms, but their eyes were completely black. Void agents. Vela reacted instantly, drawing her blade. Lily moved in perfect sync with her, their bond flaring with power. Ember took flight scales blazing with silver light. Rose screamed as energy weapons fired. Lily pushed her sister behind a cabinet, returning fire with a small elven weapon Vela had given her. The life debt mark burned on her wrist, channeling. The alien captain chose to spare him. Now he owes her forever part. 1 month after the encounter with the void ship, the Starlight Vengeance docked at Ilara Station, a hidden elven outpost built inside a hollow asteroid. The ship needed extensive repairs and the crew needed rest. Lily had earned a cautious respect from most of the elven crew after helping during the battle, though some still regarded her with suspicion. Captain Vela had given Lily limited freedom on the station, though the silver mark on her wrist ensured she could not go far. The life debt bound them together, creating an invisible tether. Neither could move too far from the other without experiencing physical discomfort. Lily explored the elven station, fascinated by its architecture. Unlike human stations with their utilitarian design, Ilara was beautiful. Crystals grew along curved walls, providing light and power. Plants thrived in hydroponic gardens, creating fresh air and food. A small artificial sun hung in the center of the hollow asteroid, bathing everything in golden light. Ember accompanied Lily on her explorations. The small dragon seemed to have appointed himself her guardian, following her. When Viola was busy with official duties, the crew gave Lily space when they saw the captains familiar with her. Lily found a quiet spot in one of the gardens. A bench made of living wood overlooked a pool of clear water. Tiny fish with bioluminescent scales swam in lazy circles. She sat watching them, Ember perched beside her. The silver mark on her wrist pulsed gently, reminding her of her bond with Vela Commander Winters. Lily looked up to see First Officer Kyla approaching. The copper-haired elf still seemed uncomfortable around her, but the open hostility had faded. First Officer Lily nodded in greeting. What can I do for you? The captain requests your presence in her quarters, Kyla said formally. Something has been discovered that requires your attention. Lily stood immediately. Ember chirped and flew to her shoulder, his small claws gentle against her uniform. The life debt pulled at her, urging her toward Vela. She followed Kyla through the station, noticing how other elves moved aside as they passed. Some nodded respectfully. Others simply stared. Vela's quarters on the station were larger than her ship cabin. A balcony overlooked the central garden. Several crystal screens displayed data and star charts. Books, actual physical books, lined one wall, a rarity in both human and elven. Society Captain Vela stood by a large table covered with data crystals and ancient-looking scrolls. Her silver hair was braided today with small blue flowers woven through it. She looked up as Lily entered. "Thank you for coming so quickly." "Lily Vela," said, dismissing Kyla with a nod. "I have found something disturbing." Lily approached the table. Ember flew from her shoulder to Vela's, then chirped excitedly at the materials spread before them. "What is all this?" Lily asked, looking at the ancient scrolls and glowing crystals. Vela picked up one of the crystals. It shimmered with internal light. When she touched it, images appeared in the air above it. "After our encounter with the void ship, I began researching in the station archives," she explained. "These are records from before the war between our peoples. Some are thousands of years old. The images showed star systems, formation of colonies, early contact between humans and elves. I thought our races first met only 80 years ago," Lily said, confused. "That was the official history taught in human schools." "Another lie," Vela said. "Our peoples have encountered each other many times throughout history, sometimes as friends, sometimes as enemies, but never in a war like this." Lily studied the floating images. They showed human and elven ships working together, trading, visiting each other's worlds, peaceful cooperation that contradicted everything she had been taught. "But if this is true," Lily began, "why don't our people remember?" Viola touched another crystal. This one showed something dark moving between stars, something that matched the void ship they had encountered, the Void Collective, an ancient entity older than both our civilizations. Records suggest they feed on conflict, on the energy released. When sentient beings fight and die, they have manipulated species before pushing them into war. Lily felt cold. The implications were staggering. "Are you saying this entire war is orchestrated?" "Yes." Viola finished for her, "But I lacked proof until now." The elven captain picked up a small data pad. It was human technology, not elven. Lily recognized the military encryption patterns on its case. "Where did you get that?" "One of our scout ships recovered it from the wreckage of a human vessel." She handed it to Lily. "I need you to access it. The encryption is beyond our technology." Lily took the pad hesitantly. Military regulations forbade sharing technology with the enemy. But was Vela really the enemy anymore? The life debt pulsed on her wrist, reminding her of their connection. The data pad required a high-level military authorization code. Lily entered her command credentials, hoping they hadn't been revoked. The screen flashed green, then displayed its contents. "What does it say?" Viola asked, leaning closer. Ember chirped softly, looking at the screen with intelligent eyes. Lily scrolled through the information, her face growing pale. Mission reports, battle plans, intelligence assessments. But something was wrong. The targets, the strategies, they didn't match what she had been told about the war. "These orders," Lily said, her voice shaking. "They contradict our official military directives. This says Admiral Morgan ordered attacks on civilian targets to provoke elven retaliation. But the public was told those colonies were destroyed by elven forces." Viola nodded grimly, touching another crystal. The image changed, showing elven reports. "The same happened on our side. Our military claimed humans destroyed unarmed outposts, but these records show our own ships were responsible. Both our governments have been lying, pushing us toward greater conflict." Lily felt sick. How many had died because of these lies? How many colonies destroyed, ships lost, lives ended, all to feed some ancient entity? But why would our leaders do this? Why would they sacrifice their own people? Before Viola could answer, Ember suddenly hissed. His scales darkened, smoke curling from his nostrils. The small dragon leapt from Viola's shoulder to the table, knocking over several crystals. He seemed agitated. Viola frowned, picking up her familiar "What's wrong, little one?" A feeling pushed through the life debt bond, a warning. Lily gasped, grabbing Vela's arm. Danger. The door to the quarters burst open. 3 elven warriors entered, weapons raised. But something was wrong with them. Their eyes were completely black, their movements stiff, unnatural. Behind them stood a human woman in an Earth Defense Fleet uniform, Admiral Heather Morgan. Or something wearing her form. Found you, the Admiral said in a voice that echoed strangely, as if multiple voices spoke at once. Void agents, Vela whispered, pushing Lily behind her. Ember hissed again, flames flickering around his mouth. The possessed elven warriors advanced, weapons ready. The false Admiral smiled a terrible, empty smile. You have discovered too much, Captain Vela. The war must continue. The harvest must proceed. Lily looked around desperately for a weapon. She grabbed a ceremonial knife from Vela's desk. It was better than nothing. Vela raised her hand. The silver mark on her palm, glowing ember, flew to her shoulder, his scales lighting up with the same silver pattern. By ancient right, I call upon the life debt. Vela said, her voice taking on a resonant quality. The mark on Lily's wrist burned. She gasped as energy flowed between them. The knife in her hand began to glow with the same silver light. Now, Vela shouted, acting on instinct. Lily threw the knife. It struck one of the possessed warriors in the chest. The silver energy spread throughout its body. The black emptiness in its eyes faded, replaced by normal elven eyes. The warrior collapsed, confused but free. The remaining warriors fired their weapons. Energy blasts tore through the room. Vela pushed Lily down behind the table. Ember took flight, breathing a stream of fire at the attackers. The flames were silver, tinged with the same energy as the life debt Lily felt. Vela's thoughts through their bond, a plan forming. They needed to reach the Admiral's form, destroy the void entity controlling it. Vela touched her wrist again, sending more energy through their bond. Lily felt stronger, faster. Her senses sharpened. She could see the void energy now. Dark tendrils connecting the false Admiral to the possessed warriors. As when they moved, Vela drawing her captain's blade, Lily grabbing a fallen warrior's weapon. They fought in perfect synchronization, the life debt connecting their movements, their thoughts. Their attacks targeted the dark tendrils, severing the Admiral's control over the warriors. The false Admiral snarled in rage, its form shifting slightly, revealing something inhuman beneath the disguise. Ember, dive, Vela commanded. The small dragon plunged toward the Admiral, breathing silver fire. The flames struck the false Admiral in the face, revealing a glimpse of something ancient and terrible beneath the human disguise. Lily and Vela attacked together. Their weapons charged with the silver energy of the life debt. They struck as one person, 2 bodies, moving in perfect harmony. The false Admiral screamed a sound no human throat could make. The void entity began to lose control of its form, darkness leaking out like smoke together. Vela whispered through their bond. Lily nodded, understanding. Without hesitation, she pressed her marked wrist against Vela's palm. Their bond flared with blinding intensity. The silver energy surged between them, then outward in a shockwave. The false Admiral convulsed as the silver energy washed over it. The human disguise fell away, revealing a writhing mass of darkness. The void entity shrieked once, then collapsed into nothing, leaving only a scorch mark on the floor. The remaining possessed warriors collapsed free of. The alien captain chose to spare him. Now he owes her. Forever part. 14 days passed aboard the Starlight Vengeance. Lily Winters adjusted to her new reality as best she could. The silver mark on her wrist pulsed constantly, a reminder of her life debt to Captain Viola. She had been given quarters near the elven captains, a small room with living walls that changed colors based on her mood. The elven crew avoided her. Suspicious glances followed her everywhere she went. Many had lost family. To human attacks, they saw her as the enemy despite their captain's decision. Some whispered that Viola had made a mistake, that keeping a human alive was dangerous. Lily spent most of her time with Vela and Ember. The small dragon had taken a strange liking to her, often perching on her shoulder when Vela was busy with ship duties. At first, Lily had been nervous around the creature. Despite its small size, she had seen what dragon fire could do to human ships. But Ember seemed gentle with her, chirping softly and sometimes bringing her small objects like a cat offering presents. Captain Vela was more complicated. The elven woman was a mystery. She could be cold and distant one moment, then surprisingly thoughtful. The next, Lily could not predict her moods. On this day, Viela summoned Lily to her private chambers. The captain's quarters were much larger than Lily's, with a domed ceiling that displayed the stars outside. Plants grew everywhere, some familiar but most alien to human eyes. In the center of the room stood a large crystal table covered with star charts and data pads. Viela stood by a window looking out at the endless space. Her silver hair loose today, falling to her waist like a waterfall of moonlight. Ember was curled. Around her neck, his scales matching the silver of her hair. "You wanted to see me," Captain Lily said, keeping her voice neutral. Viela turned. Those shifting opal eyes locked onto Lily, making her feel exposed. "Tell me about Earth." She said, "I have never seen your homeworld." Lily hesitated. She had been trained to reveal nothing to the enemy, but was Viela still the enemy? The life debt complicated everything. Earth is mostly water. She began blue oceans and green land. We have forests and deserts, mountains, and plains. Our cities are built of steel and glass. Nothing like your living ships. Viela nodded, listening intently. "Do you have family there?" My sister Lily answered, thinking of Rose. The only family she had left after the war claimed their parents. She works as a doctor trying to heal those wounded in the war. She never wanted me to join the military. Viela smiled sadly. The elven captain walked to a small cabinet and removed a crystal bottle containing amber liquid. She poured 2 glasses, offering one to Lily. "This is starfruit wine from my homeworld. It is tradition to share it when speaking of family." Lily accepted the glass cautiously. She sniffed the liquid. It smelled sweet, like honey and cinnamon. She took a small sip. The wine was unlike anything she had tasted before, warm and cool at the same time. It reminded her of summer evenings on Earth. "My sister was a diplomat," Viela said after drinking from her own glass. "She believed peace between our people was possible. She led a delegation to meet with human representatives. Her shuttle was destroyed by human torpedoes, no survivors." Lily almost choked on her wine. "I never heard of any peace delegation. The military news said your people refused all attempts at negotiation." Viela laughed, that same humorless laugh Lily had heard when they first met. "It seems both our governments have been selective with the truth." The elven captain sat in a chair made of living wood that shifted to accommodate her. The small dragon Ember flew from her shoulder, landing on the crystal table. He looked at Lily. His head tilted. "Do you know why I invoked the life debt, Lily Winters?" Viela asked suddenly. Lily shook her head. "I assumed it was some kind of slavery." "To make an example of me." Viela looked, offended. "The life debt is sacred. It is not slavery. It is connection. The oldest magic of my people. It binds us together. It allows me to sense your presence, your emotions, sometimes even your thoughts. And you can sense mine." Lily frowned. She had noticed strange feelings that were not her own, flashes of emotions that made no sense, dreams of places she had never seen. She looked down at the silver mark on her wrist. The magic works both ways. Viela continued. "We are connected now, whether we like it or not." "You feel it already, don't you?" "Yes," Lily admitted. "I feel things sometimes, things that aren't mine, memories that aren't mine." A crystal city burning. A sky filled with dragons. Viola's eyes widened. "You see my memories." "My homeworld," Viela whispered. "The crystal city was Ashrael, our capital. The dragons in the sky were the last of the great worms. Only small ones like Ember survived. The human fleet attacked without warning. Our defenses were not ready. We lost everything." Lily felt Viela's grief through their bond. It was overwhelming, like drowning in sorrow. She put down her wineglass, afraid she might drop it. "But why bind me to you? What purpose does it serve?" Viela stood and walked to Lily. She took Lily's marked wrist in her hand. The silver pattern glowed brighter at her touch. "The life debt is old magic, older than the war, older than our people's hatred. I needed to understand. Why does this war continue? What drives humans to such destruction? The bond lets me see through your eyes, to understand how you think. And what have you learned? Lily asked, pulling her wrist away. That you are as much a victim of this war as we are. Viola said simply. You were told lies, just as my people were. We fight and die while someone else benefits before Lily could respond. An alarm sounded throughout the ship. Red lights flashed across the walls. Ember leapt up, wings spread wide. Captain to the bridge. First officer. Kyla's voice came through a communication crystal. Viola moved immediately, heading for the door. Lily followed without being told. The life debt pulled at her, making her want to stay near the elven captain. They hurried through the living corridors of the ship, crew members rushing past them. The bridge of the Starlight Vengeance was a large, circular room. The walls were transparent, showing the space around them. Officers worked at crystal consoles that responded to touch and thought. First Officer Kyla, a stern-faced elf with copper hair, turned as they entered. Captain, we have detected a human battlecruiser on approach. They are not responding to communications. Viola took her command chair in the center of the bridge. Ember settled on her shoulder, looking at the tactical display show. The air in front of them shimmered, forming an image of a massive human warship. Lily recognized it immediately. That's the Defiance. The flagship of Admiral Heather Morgan. Lily said, without thinking. The most powerful ship in the human fleet. All eyes turned to her. Many suspicious. Some openly. Hostile. Vela looked thoughtful. What would the Admiral want in this sector? Before Lily could answer the communication, Crystal chimed. Captain, they are hailing us. Open the channel. Vela ordered. The air shimmered again, revealing the face of Admiral Morgan. Her steel-gray hair was pulled back in a severe bun. Her uniform decorated with medals and ribbons of service. Lily had met her only once during her promotion ceremony. Captain Vela. Admiral Morgan nodded slightly. We have detected a human energy signature aboard your vessel. Our records indicate it matches Commander Lily Winters. We demand her immediate return. Lily felt a surge of hope mixed with confusion. How had they found her? The emergency beacon should not have reached this far. Viola remained calm. Commander Winters is bound to me by life debt. She remains aboard the Starlight Vengeance by ancient right. The Admiral frowned. Your ancient rights mean nothing to us, Captain. Return the commander or we will take her by force. Lily felt Vela's anger through their bond, but also something else. Fear not of the human ship, but of something else. Admiral. Lily spoke, stepping forward. How did you find me? My beacon shouldn't have reached this sector. Morgan looked at her, expression unreadable. We have our ways, Commander. Rest assured we are here to bring you home. Vela stood suddenly, Ember spreading his wings. Something is wrong, she whispered to Lily. That ship? It feels wrong. Lily looked more closely at the image of the Defiance. Something did seem off. The configuration of the weapons was different than she remembered, and Admiral Morgan, her eyes. They seemed flat, lifeless. Captain Viola turned to her crew. Raise shields full power to defensive systems. The Admiral looked angry now. Your shields will not help you, Captain. We will give you 1 minute to transport Commander Winters to our ship, or we will open fire. The connection ended. The image faded. Kyla looked at Viola. Captain, we cannot withstand a direct assault from a ship of that size. Viola ignored her first officer, turning instead to Lily. Tell me, is that truly your Admiral? Lily hesitated, looking at the tactical display of the human ship. Something was definitely wrong. The energy signature was off. The weapons configuration, incorrect. And Admiral Morgan. Her eyes, her manner of speaking, it was all wrong. No, she said finally. That is not the Defiance, and that is not. Admiral Morgan. Vela nodded as if confirming her own suspicions. Ember chirped agreement. Battle stations, she ordered full evasive maneuvers. The Starlight Vengeance moved with surprising speed for such a large vessel. The fake Defiance fired massive energy weapons, narrowly missing their hull. Lily grabbed a console to steady herself. The ship rocked under. Enemy fire. She looked at her wrist. The silver mark was glowing brightly, pulsing with Vela's heightened emotions. She could feel the elven captain's focus her determination. First Officer Kyla looked at the tactical display. The human ship is powering up its main weapon, Captain. We cannot withstand a direct hit. Lily studied the display. She knew human ships, their weaknesses. She could help, but would the elven crew listen to her, Captain Vela, if that's not a real? The alien captain chose to spare him. Now he owes her forever part. The darkness of space surrounded the small scout ship as it moved through the asteroid field. Commander Lily Winters gripped the controls with steady hands as warning lights flashed across her dashboard. The mission was supposed to be simple: gather intel on enemy movements in the outer colonies and return to base without being detected. She was the best pilot in the human fleet. That was why they sent her on this mission alone. Her small vessel, the Swift Arrow, was designed for stealth, not combat. The ship vibrated as a piece of space debris scratched against the hull. Lily checked her scanner. The elven warships should not be in this sector. Something had gone very wrong. Intelligence had failed her. This was supposed to be empty space. A massive shadow appeared above her ship, blocking out the distant stars. The vessel was unlike anything in the human fleet. Its hull seemed to be made of some kind of crystal that reflected the light of nearby stars, creating rainbow patterns across its surface. It was beautiful and terrifying all at once. The elven flagship, the Starlight Vengeance, had found her. Lily tried to run. She pushed the engines beyond safety limits as she weaved through the asteroid field, hoping to lose her pursuer. The Swift Arrow responded well, ducking and diving between floating rocks. But the alien ship followed with impossible grace. A flash of purple light erupted from the elven ship. A tractor beam. The Swift Arrow shuddered as invisible forces grabbed it. The control panel sparked and died in front of her. Lily hit the emergency beacon, but knew it was useless. No human ship would reach her in time. As her vessel was pulled toward the massive alien ship, Lily prepared for the worst. Standard protocol was clear in these situations. Destroy all sensitive data, and if capture was inevitable, take the small pill hidden in her uniform collar. Human military secrets could not fall into enemy hands, but something stopped her. The thought of her sister back on Earth waiting for her return. The promise she had made to come home. Lily hesitated, and in that moment of hesitation, her fate was sealed. The Swift Arrow was brought into a vast docking bay inside the elven ship. Lily watched through the viewport as armored figures approached. Their movements were fluid, almost like dancers rather than soldiers. Her ship door opened with a hiss, and cold air rushed in. The elven warriors entered her ship. Their armor was unlike human military gear. It seemed to be grown rather than manufactured, with plates that moved like living things. They surrounded her, weapons ready but not firing. The soldiers parted, making way for someone new. A tall figure stepped onto the ship with confident grace. Unlike the others, this elf wore no helmet. Her face was visible. Pale skin with a slight blue tint, high cheekbones and eyes that seemed to shift colors like opals. Her silver hair was braided with what looked like living vines, and atop her shoulder sat a small creature. Lily stared. The creature was no bigger than a house cat, but it was clearly a dragon. Its scales shimmered with colors that matched its owner's eyes, and small wisps of smoke curled from its nostrils. The tiny dragon fixed its gaze on Lily, and she felt as if it was looking directly into her soul. The elven captain spoke. Her voice was melodic with an accent Lily had never heard before. Captain Vela, Starborn, commander of the Starlight Vengeance. We have you surrounded. Human resistance is unwise. Lily stood tall despite her fear. I am Commander Lily Winters of the Earth Defense Fleet. I claim rights as a prisoner of war according to the galactic conventions. The elven captain tilted her head, her expression curious. The small dragon on her shoulder mimicked the movement. The elf approached Lily, studying her face. There are no conventions between our people, human. Your kind has made sure of that. Your fleet destroyed one of our colony worlds last cycle. There were children there. Lily felt cold inside. She had heard nothing of such an attack. Military intelligence had told them the elves were the aggressors, that they had struck first at human settlements. I know nothing of that I am on a peaceful reconnaissance mission." The elven warriors made sounds of disbelief, but Captain Vela raised her hand, silencing them. The small dragon on her shoulder chirped and fluttered its wings reconnaissance. The elven captain walked around Lily, examining her like a curious specimen. "Your kind always has innocent explanations for your presence in our territory." One of the warriors stepped forward. "Captain, we should follow protocol with human prisoners." The council was clear. Lily knew what that meant. Execution. The standard fate of human prisoners captured by elven forces, just as elven prisoners rarely survived in human hands. The war had gone beyond any rules of engagement. Years ago, the captain raised a slender hand, silencing. The warrior Vila stepped closer to Lily, her opal eyes searching for something. Her dragon familiar leapt from her shoulder to the console between them, its tiny claws clicking against metal as it approached. Lily sniffing the air. Lily remained perfectly still as the small dragon circled her. The creature was beautiful up close. Its scales had an inner light that pulsed like a heartbeat. Wings folded against its back were thin enough to see through, like dragonfly wings, but stronger. The dragon chirped again and looked back at its master. Captain Vela smiled for the first time, a small expression that transformed her severe face into something almost kind, interesting. "Ember seems to think you are telling the truth. He has always been a good judge of character for a worm Ember. The dragon's name is Ember," Lily thought, finding her voice. "Tell me, Captain, why would your people attack human colonies if what you say is true? Why start this war?" Vela laughed, though there was no humor in it. "We did not start this war, human. Your kind fired the first shot when your mining ships trespassed on sacred space and refused to leave. You destroyed an ancient temple older than both our civilizations when we tried to remove you. This contradicted everything." Lily had been told the official story was that elven forces had attacked human mining operations without warning or provocation. Thousands had died in that first assault. Lily felt dizzy as her worldview shifted. Could everything she knew be wrong? Warrior spoke again. "Captain, the protocol." "The council, I know the protocol." Viola snapped, her voice sharp, but then she paused, looking at Lily with those impossible eyes. The dragon Ember returned to her shoulder and seemed to whisper something in her ear. The elven captain made a decision. Lily could see it in her face. "This one lives," Viola declared, her melodic voice firm, leaving no room for argument. The small dragon chirped in apparent agreement, unfurling wings that shimmered with bioluminescent patterns. "She will serve a greater purpose." The warriors exchanged glances, but none dared question their captain directly. Lily felt relief wash over her, but it was short-lived as Viola approached her again. "Do you know what it means, human to be spared by an elven captain in time of war?" Lily shook her head. "In the old ways, when one spares an enemy, that enemy is bound by a life debt. It cannot be repaid, it cannot be broken. Only death releases the bond." Viola raised her hand palm, glowing with a soft blue light. "Vela Starborn of the 7th House, captain of the Starlight Vengeance, claimed the life debt of this human." Vela pressed her glowing palm against Lily's wrist. Pain shot through Lily's arm as if her very blood had turned to fire. She tried to pull away, but the elven warriors held her in place. When Vela removed her hand, a silver mark remained on Lily's wrist. It pulsed with a soft light matching the rhythm of Vela's heartbeat. "You are bound to me now. Lily Winters. Your life is mine. Your service is mine, but you live. And perhaps together we will discover why my little dragon thinks you are worth saving." Lily looked down at the mark on her wrist. The silver pattern seemed to move slightly, as if alive. This was not how she expected to survive, but she was alive. And while she lived, there was hope. The elven warriors led her from her ship deeper into the massive elven vessel. The Starlight Vengeance was unlike any ship Lily had ever seen. The walls seemed alive, pulsing with light, and energy plants grew in specific patterns throughout the corridors, and the air smelled of forest and rain, rather than the sterile, recycled atmosphere of human vessels. Captain Vela walked ahead, her silver hair catching the light ember. The small dragon looked back at Lily from his perch on Vela's shoulder. His intelligent eyes seemed to hold secrets Lily could not understand. Lily Winters had expected to die today. Instead, she was bound to an alien captain with magic she did not understand, on a ship heading to unknown space. Her mission had failed, but her journey was just beginning. As the mark on her wrist pulsed in time with her new master's heartbeat, Lily wondered what purpose the elven captain had in mind for her, and why a tiny dragon had decided she deserved to live.